Did you know that over 70% of employees have experienced burnout at some point in their careers? Burnout, which is also recognized by World Health Organization as an occupational phenomenon, means that you're physically, emotionally, and mentally exhausted at all the times, and because of that, you're not able to enjoy your life, nor your job, neither your relationships. And I'm here to talk about that. Hi everybody, this is Dr. Samreen, a PhD graduate from the UK and currently working in academia. My research revolves around what we do and why we do it. So let me give you a scenario, right? It's 2 a.m., you're still working on your desk or in your bed, your to-do list is still not finished, and you are questioning yourself, is it all really worth it? Why? Because you're unhappy, you feel stressed all the time. Also, you always question yourself, are you good enough? Thinking everybody's got it, everybody else is doing really good, managing all these different things, but you are not doing the same. There must be something which you are not getting, which others are. Does this sound familiar? Well, if it does, let's just talk about it. Every single time when we look around, we always hear, just work hard, you'll get the reward. Keep grinding. The idea that as long as you're working, you would get the success has really messed up our heads. And actually, all of this phenomenon is really deeply embedded in the hustle culture. You hustle hard and you get what you're dreaming of. You hustle hard and you'll get everything you ever wanted to get. You hustle hard and you would get a lot further than everybody around you. But in reality, this hustle culture is really destroying us. And I say that based on my personal experience. Actually, recently I have had a really bad health situation where for almost 2 months I've been really ill. And this past time, I have really reflected a lot on myself. What am I doing? And actually, is it all worth it? You might be surprised to hear the answer to this question. And of course, it would be subjective based on each individual. Let's go through a few things before I answer that question, that is it worth it? If you're working currently, or if you've ever worked in your life, full-time or part-time, you must have come across a colleague who is always whining about their work, who is never happy, who is always complaining, and who is always saying that how many times they work late evenings, how many times they work at night, their weekends, and so on and so forth. You'll also find this colleague doing all these things in the hope that they'll be able to get a lot further than everybody else. Of course, there's nothing wrong in it. However, it only becomes wrong if it's creating all those negative emotions in that person and ultimately impacting their health and well-being. And actually, there has been a study by World Health Organization where they found out that working for more than 55 hours a week can increase your rate of getting heart diseases, strokes, and many other stress-related problems. Yet, we admire those people who grind all the time and never stop. But the question is, would that ever end? Even all the hustlers in the world, at some point or the other, have openly admitted that they have been through burnout. For example, Elon Musk. Famously, he used to work for 120 hours a week until one day he admitted that has really caused him health problems. And then there are some of us who really enjoy working late at night. We call ourselves night owls. We also take pride in the fact that we can go for very long hours without sleeping and we can be very productive. Let me bust that myth. You cannot be productive with lack of sleep, and actually I'm guilty of that as well. I used to do the same thing until one day I found out through my reading and also talking to some experts that how sleep deprivation can really have an impact on your cognition and mental abilities. And actually it can reduce our brain function by 40%. Well, that myth got busted quite quickly, didn't it? While we're at it, let me also bust another myth. The productivity myth. Research from Stanford University found out that productivity per hour declines sharply after 50 hours per week. And after 55 hours, it basically flatlines. So yes, you must be still at your desk telling yourself that you're working, but actually you're either scrolling your phone, you're feeling stressed, tired, or perhaps sleepy. And actually, I have gone through this myself. While I was doing my PhD, I was also working full-time, and the only time I was getting to work on my PhD was either weekends, late evenings, or late nights. And I must confess one thing here. It has been a really tough journey, to continue my PhD and complete it successfully alongside full-time job. But it has also taught me one thing, that unless you don't really balance all these things in your life, it's almost impossible to be productive at one task. I remember sitting at my desk thinking I'm working, but finding out myself doing anything but studying or writing my PhD thesis. And that's not productive at all, is it? So why do we really romanticize working hard in this hustle culture? Well, thanks to social media now, we are looking at people's perfect lives and comparing those perfect lives with our imperfect lives. Now, what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is that the minute you open your social media, be it Instagram, LinkedIn, or any other form of social media, you always see people working 24/7 without taking a break. While you on the other side of the screen, sitting on your own thinking, how on earth is possible for these people just to work non-stop? What we don't really know and what we don't really see is that all these people who are portraying this perfect image of themselves on social media are going through heartbreaks, are going through failed relationships, are going through stress and anxiety, yet they are portraying this really beautiful and perfect image in front of us. So who is to blame here? All of us, because we are the part of the system as well. We also reward, get inspired, and look up to these people, and therefore it never stops. And actually, I really like this concept in Japanese culture, which is referred to as Karoshi, which means literally death by overwork. So it tells you something, doesn't it? And if working hard and hustling hard was the answer, why do you think countries like Denmark and Sweden are ranked higher, not only in productivity, but also happiness? They have a shorter work week that really helps the people to manage work-life balance, so they stay productive at work, equally maintaining their happiness in their personal lives too. So basically, they focus on the efficiency, not just how many hours they're spending on their desk pretending to work. So, coming back to the question I posed in the beginning of the video, is working hard and only working really worth it? Well, my answer to that question is, working hard is important, but for me personally, working smarter is a lot more essential. We should be able to celebrate efficiency, balance, and sustainable working practices. So basically, success is not about working yourself into the ground. Instead, it's about knowing when to push and when to pause. So, if your work is just making you miserable, hurting your health, or costing you your relationships, it's definitely not worth it. But on the other hand, if your work is with purpose, efficiency, and balance, absolutely, that's how it should be. And it's totally worth it. Don't forget to tell me in the comments section, what's your experience with the hustle culture and how have you tackled it? And actually, while we are on that, my next video is all about how we can work smarter and not harder. So stay tuned for it. Until next video, take care. Bye.